You've been lied to. Reality isn't what you think, it's what you've been trained to believe. Your mind is running a script you didn't write, filtering out possibilities before you even see them. Ever felt stuck, like no matter what you do, life keeps playing the same patterns? That's not fate. It's a mental program you didn't choose. And here's the real kicker. Most people will spend their entire lives blind to this. But not you. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why your struggles aren't coming from the outside world. They're coming from inside your own perception. I'll expose the invisible limits controlling your life, and more importantly, how to break free. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And when you learn to control your mind, you control everything. So are you ready to wake up? Because after this, your world will never look the same again. 1. Your reality is a mental prison. Most people don't realize they're trapped because the walls aren't physical. They're built from beliefs, assumptions, and habits. It's like watching a fish that doesn't know it's in water. The mind accepts limitations as facts, just like a caged bird that stops trying to fly even when the door is wide open. What if everything you think is just how life is was actually just programming? The biggest illusion isn't that reality is fixed. It's that you believe you have no choice but to play by its rules. Ever seen someone freeze when an opportunity comes knocking? It's not bad luck. It's their mind rejecting the unfamiliar. A chess grandmaster lost to a beginner once, not because he wasn't smart, but because he was blind to moves outside his mental framework. That's how reality works. Your perception isn't based on truth, but on what you've been trained to see. When you start questioning what's possible, you realize most limits exist only inside your head. The problem is, most people don't question their reality at all. They wake up, follow routines, and assume life is happening to them. But have you ever stopped to ask who benefits from you thinking this way? Governments, corporations, society, they all function more smoothly when people accept their roles without questioning them. If you never challenge your beliefs, you'll keep playing a game where someone else made the rules, and the worst part, you won't even know you're playing. But here's the kicker. Reality isn't something you observe, it's something you create. Your mind isn't just a passenger, it's the one driving. The moment you start seeing thoughts as choices, not facts, the whole game changes. And once you realize your mind has been filtering what you can and can't see, you'll start wondering, what else has been hidden from you this entire time? 2. Your brain filters out reality before you even see it. Your mind isn't showing you the world as it is. It's showing you the world as it expects it to be. Ever searched for your keys, only to find them sitting right in front of you the whole time? That's not you being careless. That's your brain filtering out what it thinks isn't relevant. It does this with everything, from objects to opportunities. If you don't expect to see success, love, or freedom, your mind will literally erase the signs leading to them. Try this. Look around and find everything red. Now, without looking, how many blue things did you notice? Probably none. That's because your perception isn't based on reality. It's based on what you tell your mind to look for. This isn't just about colors. It's about life. If you believe making money is hard, your brain will ignore easy opportunities. If you think people don't respect you, you'll miss every sign that they actually do. Reality isn't fixed, it's just what you're trained to notice. And here's where it gets even trickier. Your mind will fight to prove itself right. If you expect failure, your brain will highlight every struggle and downplay every win. Ever noticed how some people always seem to have bad luck? It's not luck, it's perception. They're trapped in a feedback loop where their mind filters reality to match their expectations. The good news, the same system can work in your favor if you learn how to reprogram it. So what if you could train your mind to see different possibilities? What if the reality you think you're stuck in isn't the full picture? Once you start questioning how much of your world is just a mental construct, you can't unsee it. And when you realize your own mind is actively hiding opportunities from you, the next logical question is, what else is it keeping you blind to? 3. Your mind is designed to keep you blind. Ever had a deep realization, only to wake up the next day and forget why it felt so important? That's not random. It's your brain deleting what doesn't fit your existing worldview. It's called the doorway effect. The same trick your mind plays when you walk into a room and forget why you're there. But this goes deeper than memory. It's about control. Your brain filters out anything that challenges what you think you know because new ideas threaten its sense of stability. This isn't just a biological glitch, it's by design. Society thrives on predictability, and the more predictable you are, the easier you are to manage. That's why schools don't teach financial freedom, why the news is filled with fear, and why people stick to routines even when they're miserable. If you've ever wondered why some people stay in toxic relationships or dead-end jobs, this is why. Their mind deletes any awareness that a different path exists, keeping them locked in place. And here's where it gets scary. Your mind doesn't just erase new possibilities, it convinces you they never existed. Ever looked back at an old version of yourself and thought, how did I not see that before? That's your mind's defense system at work. It's not that the truth wasn't there, it's that you weren't programmed to notice it. Until you start questioning your mental filters, you'll keep experiencing the same reality on repeat, convinced it's the only one available. But the real trap isn't just external, it's who you think you are. Because the biggest illusion your brain protects isn't just reality itself, but your own identity. And if you think you know exactly who you are, get ready, because that's the next layer of the illusion. 4. Your identity is a story your brain won't let you change. Ever had someone say, you always do this, and your first instinct was to deny it, even if they were right? That's your brain rejecting new information to protect its version of you. Your identity isn't built on facts, it's built on consistency. Your mind values being right over being free, which is why people cling to limiting beliefs, even when they're painful. If you see yourself as someone who just isn't good with money, your mind will fight to keep that belief alive. This is why real change feels impossible for most people. Have you ever tried to break a habit only to slip back into old patterns? That's not just laziness. That's your brain defending its current identity. It sees any change, even a positive one, as a threat. That's why some people self-sabotage success, why they push away love, why they stay in cycles of struggle. Their mind would rather be right about who they think they are than risk stepping into the unknown. Here's the crazy part. Your brain actively deletes proof that you can change. If you start working out but still think of yourself as lazy, you'll focus on the one day you skipped the gym, not the 5 days you went. If you believe you're not confident, you'll ignore the times you spoke up and remember only the moments you hesitated. Your mind isn't interested in truth, it's interested in stability. And stability means keeping you inside the same identity loop, over and over again. But what if identity isn't fixed? What if the person you think you are is just a mental habit? Because once you realize that identity is just a story, not a fact, you stop asking if you can change and start asking how. And that's when reality itself starts to shift. 5. Expectation shapes reality. Ever bought a new car and suddenly started seeing that model everywhere? That's not the universe playing tricks on you. It's your brain filtering reality based on what it now considers important. This is called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, and it doesn't just apply to cars. If your mind expects struggle, it will highlight obstacles. If it expects success, it will notice opportunities. Reality isn't changing. Your perception is. And that perception is the difference between someone who always finds a way and someone who always finds an excuse. This goes deeper than just noticing things. Your expectations don't just filter reality, they create it. Studies show that students perform better when teachers expect them to be smarter, even if they weren't originally top of the class. The same applies to relationships, finances, and health. If you expect people to respect you, you'll act differently, more confident, more certain, and others will respond accordingly. Your mind sets the stage and reality follows. The problem is, most people let their past define their expectations. If they've failed before, they assume they'll fail again. If they've been rejected, they expect more rejection. And because expectation shapes reality, they keep reliving the same patterns. This is why changing your life isn't just about working harder. It's about expecting something different. The world isn't fixed. It bends to match the lens you're looking through. Change the lens and the entire game shifts. So what happens when you train your mind to expect the best? What happens when you start assuming that success, love, and abundance are already yours? Your brain starts looking for proof. And once you start seeing proof, you can't unsee it. But here's the real kicker. What if the life you want is already right in front of you and your brain is just refusing to see it? 6. Your brain is hiding the life you want. Ever lost something, searched everywhere, then found it sitting in plain sight? That wasn't bad luck. That was inattentional blindness. Your brain deletes what it thinks isn't important, even if it's right in front of you. And it doesn't just do this with objects. It does it with opportunities. If your mind doesn't believe financial freedom, deep love, or personal power are possible for you, it will literally erase the pathways leading to them. This is why two people can be in the same place, with the same resources, and one will thrive while the other stays stuck. It's not just about effort. It's about what their mind allows them to see. Someone who believes money is scarce won't notice profitable ideas. Someone who believes love is painful will ignore people who treat them well. And someone who believes they're powerless will walk past doors that are already open. They aren't unlucky. They're blind to a different reality. And it gets worse, because the more your mind filters reality, the more convinced you become that you're right. Ever met someone who swears life is against them, no matter how much evidence says otherwise? Their brain is filtering everything to support that belief. They don't see solutions because their mind isn't looking for them, and as long as they stay trapped in that filter, their reality won't change because they literally can't see the way out. But what happens when you shift your awareness? What happens when you stop assuming reality is fixed and start questioning what your brain has been hiding from you? Suddenly, life stops being something that happens to you and starts being something you control. And once you realize even your memories aren't as real as you think, well, that changes everything. 7. Your memories are fake. Think back to a childhood memory. Got it? Now realize this. Every time you've recalled that memory, your brain has rewritten parts of it. Memories aren't perfect recordings. They're reconstructions, patched together based on emotions, assumptions, and even things you've been told. This means the past you remember isn't the past that actually happened. It's just the version your mind wants to believe. And yet, most people let these distorted memories define who they are. This is why two people can experience the same event and remember it completely differently. A conversation where you felt ignored might have been nothing more than a distracted friend. A failure you believe proved you weren't good enough might have actually been a moment of growth, if your brain hadn't rewritten it as a defeat. Your mind is constantly reshaping the past to keep your identity intact. And if your memories are shifting, how much of who you are is even real? The real trap isn't that memories change, it's that your mind protects them as absolute truth. Ever argued with someone over an event you both remember differently? That's your brain refusing to admit its own edits. It's the same reason people cling to childhood wounds or old failures as proof they can't change. They don't realize they're holding onto a story their mind has rewritten 1,000 times. The past isn't holding them back. Their attachment to a distorted past is. So what happens when you stop trusting your memories as facts? What happens when you realize the past isn't set in stone, but something you've been unknowingly reshaping all along? If you can rewrite your memories without even trying, imagine what happens when you consciously start rewriting your thoughts. 8. Your thoughts are just habits, and they can be changed. Most people assume their thoughts are who they are, but that's not true. Thoughts are just habits, patterns your brain repeats because they feel familiar. If you wake up every day expecting stress, failure, or struggle, it's not because life is against you. It's because your mind is used to looking for those things. The brain loves efficiency, and running the same mental loops takes less energy than creating new ones. But just like any habit, thoughts can be broken and replaced. Think about it. When you learned to drive, you had to focus on everything. Now you do it automatically. The same happens with thoughts. The more you tell yourself, "I'm not good at this," the more your brain repeats it until it becomes automatic. But here's the trick. Just like you trained your mind to accept limiting beliefs, you can train it to accept empowering ones. And once you change the script, reality starts shifting to match. The key is awareness. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I always mess up," or "I never get what I want," stop. Ask yourself, is this a fact or just a habit? If it's a habit, challenge it. Replace it with a new thought. At first, your brain will resist. It doesn't like change. But keep at it, and soon new thoughts will start feeling normal. And when your dominant thoughts shift, so does your perception of reality, because the truth is, you're not stuck. You never were. The only thing keeping you trapped is the same set of thoughts you keep repeating. But if thoughts are just habits, and habits can be changed, then the question isn't if you can shift your reality. The question is, are you finally ready to take control? 9. How to rewire your reality. Knowing your mind is filtering reality isn't enough. You have to disrupt the system. The first step? Question everything. Why do you believe what you believe? Who told you money was hard to earn? Who made you think love requires suffering? Most of what you accept as truth is just a hand-me-down belief from parents, teachers, and society. If you never stop to challenge these ideas, you'll live inside a mental prison you never chose. Step 2. Expose yourself to new experiences. Your brain wakes up when it encounters the unfamiliar. Travel somewhere new. Read books that challenge your thinking. Try The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, or Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. Talk to people with different perspectives. The more you break routine, the more your mind expands. And when your perception expands, so does your reality. Step 3. Catch yourself on autopilot. Every time you say, "That's just how I am," stop. Is it? Or is it just a habit your brain has been running for years? If you've always been shy, start acting more confident, even if it feels fake at first. If you've always struggled with money, start making small, bold financial moves. Your mind will resist at first, but over time it will adapt, because that's what it's designed to do. The moment you break the script, life stops controlling you, and you start writing the rules. And once you see how much power you actually have, there's no going back, because now you're not just aware of the illusion, you're the one shaping it. If you want to elevate your vibrations and manifest with more ease, I have prepared something special for you. Click the link in the first pinned comment and join us in the journey of awakening your inner mage.